The waiting game. Something I think we can all agree we hate playing when it comes to significant content being added to Red Dead Online. Do we know exactly when the next big update comes out? Well, no. One thing's for sure though, Red Dead Online's fate hangs in the balance, and Rockstar cannot afford to fail again. Hello everyone, I am Zumie Fiasco. Welcome back to another Red Dead Online video. If you're watching and this is your first time here, don't think of this as some random video you stumbled upon. You were meant to find this video, and because you chose to watch, you are a part of this community now, so welcome. Big ups for tuning in. Let's talk some Red Dead Online. For those of you that follow Red Dead Online, you probably know by now that we are going through a content drought. We aren't getting any new content until the next big update, also known as the spring update. There is no confirmed release date for this update on when it will go live. Rockstar hasn't given us any detail in that regard. The good thing is though, we do know what we can expect to see in this update. So far we know we will be getting some quality of life changes which will help improve the overall state of free roam. We'll get some new offensive and defensive playstyles, defensive potentially being Red Dead Online's version of passive mode, which is awesome. Some new story missions are getting added alongside showdowns, dynamic events, and even stranger missions. Of course, there are some new cosmetics coming and a new gun that people are pretty excited about, the Lamat revolver. The spring update on paper sounds great, and over on the Rockstar Newswire, when you check it out, it looks awesome. The thing is though that there is still a good reason to remain skeptical about the near future after the update goes live. If you think back to February, for example, the update that went live then had similar things within the update that the spring update's going to have. The February update had stranger missions, weapons, showdowns, cosmetics, drip-fed content, quality of life changes. It really had very similar things in it. If you look at how that was received and how it ultimately panned out, you'll know that this type of update won't last long when it comes to content and things to do. Don't get me wrong, this update has serious potential, and I'm sure it's going to be really fun trying out the new story missions, playing with friends, and having something to come back to the game for, but it's hard to think that it's going to be enough. Now, the dynamic events being added alongside new missions just might give the game the push it needs to get back on its feet. I just know that we need something worthwhile within this update to give us players something worth our time and worth grinding for, instead of just some missions that we can complete and then go back to the same old boring game. I really hope that the dynamic events offer more for us players, and I hope that the defensive and offensive playstyles being implemented will help to make a better, more immersive free roam when we have downtime between the cycle, you know, going to a PvP showdown or a stranger mission, and then we have that downtime where we're at our camp doing something, or we're just free roaming doing different things with our friends. I hope that these new playstyles being implemented will help smooth things out basically and make the game more enjoyable and pave the road for the future. The reason this update is so important is because there are a lot of fans, and I'm sure a lot of you are watching right now that agree with this, but a lot of people are relying on this update to revive and save Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online feels really dead right now, and this update really needs to be that savior for a lot of players to make it worth playing again and help to set the future up. Rockstar could even potentially be bringing Red Dead Online out of beta with this update, so this could mean really big things. That being said, as long as they can follow up with another update in a timely manner, or at least some other content, I think this will finally be the kickstart to Red Dead Online that we all want. As long as Rockstar can meet our expectations and avoid failing again, their near future could be great. Just remember, this update must succeed. I can't imagine the damage that will be done to the game's image if Rockstar releases this update and lets another drought ensue after players have gotten through it and played out all the content. Now, I don't mean like super soon after this update goes live, make another update. I'm just saying like the average time span it takes the majority of the player base to get through these missions and through this content. They need to consider adding more stuff in so the loyal players aren't bored and wanting to leave again. If players are constantly being made to come back for little tiny updates here and there, and then they're just treated with like nothing and they're bored and they keep leaving, after a couple times, after one time even, like most people have already quit, but after a couple more times, loyal fans aren't going to put up with it and they're going to put the game down, so Rockstar needs to stay away from that cycle. Things got really bad after the February update went live, and this cannot happen again. I mean, everyone playing right now, and even players that have quit, you guys all know that this was a true thing, and some players You yourself maybe even, along with a good portion of the community, were considering trying to pull off a boycott. Basically having players put their controllers down and just stop being active in Red Dead Online in hopes that Rockstar would catch on and realize just how upset the player base is. Now, what I'm about to show you is a little bit out of context because it did get posted a month ago, but some key things still hold true to now even. The post reads, "Is it time for a boycott?" And it was posted by Pump Truffle. I'll leave a link to it so you can read the whole thing and get your take on it. So it says, "Okay, I'm expecting a lot of hate and grief for this, but I am extremely disappointed with today's patch. So much so that I'm not playing again. And I would love it if enough people downed controllers to make Rockstar aware of how unacceptable this update is," referring to the February update, mind you. Pump then goes on to say, "This game is my favorite of all time. I'm a few gold missions away from Platinum and level 90 online. Been playing almost every day since launch. I had very high hopes for online when it launched. Okay, it was a bit underwhelming, but I've still enjoyed it enough to level up considerably. Most of my time is spent in free roam hunting, fishing, stranger missions when they worked, and just generally messing around with friends and randoms. I was hoping for several things with this update: general bug fixes, the challenge additions to free roam, new items and weapons, etc. I wasn't expecting too much as it's still in beta. So when it dropped today and it turns out they have nerfed my favorite activity, hunting, they cut the cost in half. I was cross. Then I found out you no longer get perfect pelts from small animals. I thought this was a gift from them to allow for no Deadeye slowdown online. I could feel my anger rising. Then I tried to look for the all new content they added, but couldn't find much besides a few expensive clothing items and emotes. The final straw was when I called my horse and it arrived at level 1 again. I still have that issue, guys, by the way. I still have the horse bonding reset. It's so annoying. So anyway, he goes on to say, "What the actual hell, Rockstar? You've spent 3 months working on this and this is what you give us." I've actually been accused of being a shill on here before, as I stood up for Rockstar in the beginning. As people were starting to drop out, I must have sounded a bit like Dutch, telling them all to have faith. But the faith has now been replaced with disappointment and anger. I personally 100% understand where this guy is coming from because I personally had the same experience. Let's continue with what he has to say. "My disappointment is with what they have produced online. Given the brilliance of the main game, I was hoping for a real outlaw sim online, doing endless activities with and against people. The possibilities were huge, and all they've done is a few PvP games and nerf free roam as much as possible to try and force people into it, and gold bar purchases." Dude, this guy knows exactly what I've been trying to say the whole time. Now on to his anger at their treatment of us, the customers. "I thought they were better than this. I really did. Turns out they're just another corporate cog in the money machine." It's hard to hear. That's the last thing we want for a game that we love like Red Dead Online. Rockstar is at least doing something here lately with the drought. They are doing more than I expected them to. They've been offering some bonus XP rewards for completing certain missions in game. They've been offering double cash rewards, so higher payouts for players to make some money and potentially grind some, gameplay for the next update so they have some money to spend. They even brought back a showdown mode that people overall seem to enjoy, Spoils of War. And I don't think this is the point things should have come to, but at least they are doing something and not just leaving us hanging. Rockstar also took the time to fix some bugs that wouldn't allow you to complete daily challenges or earn payouts for completing stranger missions, and I think even some other missions, which really sucks. They could have easily pushed those things off to fix them when they roll out the spring update, but fortunately they cared enough to fix those things now. I really think Rockstar is starting to see the error in their ways with how they handled Red Dead Online at the start and a little bit up to now. So I think they are really starting to look out for us, so to speak. I still have my concerns going forward with Rockstar and Red Dead Online, but it's nice to feel like I can have some faith again as a fan of the game and as a loyal player. Anyway guys, that is it for today's video. What do you think of the current state of Red Dead Online, and do you personally believe that Rockstar can save it with the spring update? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to talk with you about it. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure and leave a fat like rating down below to show your support to the channel. Also, if you are a new visitor or a returning one and you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so, along with turning notifications on so you don't miss out on any future content. You definitely don't want to do that. I hope to see you all in the next video. Later.